Today's show is sponsored by the ABV Network Merchandise Shop. Pick up your logo merchandise by heading over to abvnetwork.com, clicking on Shop, and start filling your basket today. We are also sponsored by the Bar to Go. The Bar to Go offers a fully customizable carrying case that allows you to take your favorite distilled spirits or cocktail ingredients with you. Whether you're looking for something for yourself, a customized gift, or logoed items for your business gift shop, the Bar to Go can help. Check them out at thebar2go.com. That's the number 2 in the Bar to Go. Don't forget our friends at Neely Family Distillery now ship their unique distilled spirits directly to you. To order yours, simply call 859-394-3258. Tell them the ABV Network sent you. And now, on to the show.
Let's drink!
Welcome to the Bourbon Daily, the podcast about everything bourbon delivered to you every day of the week. Today on the show, we're going to talk about what bourbons we just need to keep away from guests. My name is Miss Beka Sue. Please join me in welcoming my co-host, Steve Akeley, along with our special guests, Evan Van Scoik, Heidi Fosnot, and Katie Joyce.
Hey, gang, what's up?
Hi there.
Hey.
Hello. Yeah, we've got a fun show today. This is almost a follow-up to our previous show where we were like, what bourbon should be out there just accessible for anybody that comes to the house? This time we're taking the opposite approach. What are things that, we probably need to keep put away because if we see someone that's a big bourbon fan, taking a pour of it, we're happy about that actually. But if we see someone who has no idea what a good bourbon is and takes it and then tastes it and then maybe it's like, and then pours a bunch of Coke in there, we might get mad about that. So these are those type of bourbons. What do we think should be put away? We'll get to that though after the break. For right now, Heidi said there's something she wanted to talk about. What is that, Heidi?
All right. So holiday season is coming up.
Yep.
And I know we've probably talked about this in the past, but look at every single holiday, or an anniversary, your birthday. What is the worst gift you have ever been given? The worst. You can look back at it now and go, I still can't believe that person did that.
Yeah. Worst gift you ever got.
And it doesn't have to be for Christmas. It could be, again, a birthday, Valentine's Day, an anniversary.
Well, to me, the worst gift I ever got, I guess I was 8 years old and I got Stretch Armstrong because that was the number one thing I wanted because I watched all the commercials and it looked so great. And then I got it. It was terrible. It literally was fun for 30 seconds when you pull it, you stretch it. And that was it. That's the end of what you could do with that Stretch Armstrong. That's it.
Did you have one of your friends hold one arm and then you held the other one and everybody was just pulling and...
Oh yeah. Because everyone got that for Christmas that year, but it was like $8 Christmas gift. And that's what with my parents, you got one big Christmas gift, whatever that was. And then the rest was, clothes and jeans. I grew up, just a lower middle class child. So that was it. That was my Christmas. Stretch Armstrong. Terrible. That was a wasted Christmas. Yeah. I wasted my year 8. I wasted that. I pissed that thing away. I got Stretch Armstrong. And I didn't even care about him after that. Yeah, I got him that day and I was done with him. It's terrible.
I can think of a recent one. I don't think it was gifted directly to me, but I think it was in one of those exchanges where you play the game and you end up with the gift. I ended up with I forget what it is, but it's from the As Seen on TV. And it's
Sure.
one of those tank tops that's the male version of a Spanx. So it's a tank top that squeezes you in,
Okay.
like a sausage suit, basically.
I'm going to need to see a picture of this.
So I did not keep this gift.
Do you look
I
breathtaking in that?
Regifted it.
Dang. I wanted to see what you looked like.
No, immediately regifted. I was immediately no.
Huh. Oh, it might have been worth considering. It sounds like a great gift. Yeah. Oh, the person that ended up with it, were they pissed or?
No, because it's one of those where you're doing the steals when I regifted it. And they were like, "Oh no, I'm going to take it. I think it's hilarious."
Really? They liked it. Okay. Do you notice this person looks better when you bump into them now? You're like, oh, I don't know what you're doing. Keep it up though. You look good.
I'm not certain of any time they might have been wearing it or not.
I told Beka about my new program. I'm going to just let my beard grow out and let my hair grow long in the back end. It's all shaggy and bushy. It looks terrible. And then I think when we go to Key West, I'm going to shave everything down, shave the beard down. I get my normal haircut. And I think I'm going to look so good. Everybody's going to be like, man, you look good. Did you lose weight? What's going on? So I'm going to look good in Florida. The warden suggested, why don't you actually just lose weight instead of going for this beard haircut thing? No, that sounds like
why would I do that?
The holidays are coming up. I don't want to miss the holiday season. So yes, I'm just going to do that. I'm going to look the next 2 months or whatever we got, 2.5 months. I'm going to look just absolutely horrible. But get ready. End of January, I'm going to look fantastic. What have you done? Boy, you look good. What are you doing? You look younger. You've lost weight. Yeah, get ready. It's coming.
With your hair?
It's coming. Yeah, it's going to be great. It's not so good right now, but it's going to be
Is that
great.
a new Tommy Bahama shirt, Steve?
Yeah, exactly. So, all right. Katie, how about you?
I can't think of any gifts
No bad gifts?
that I've had where it's just like, what were you thinking? I don't know. I guess I'm easy with gifts. I'm like, yeah, that's cool. I'll use anything, enjoy anything. But the least usable gift I've probably had, an aunt of mine, I wanted like onesie pajamas for Christmas. And I was a teenager at this point. And so I was already 6'1", as I am now. And my aunt, I had told her, I was like, you're going to this isn't my height. You're going to just shop for this onesie. And she just couldn't bring herself to get like the 2XL, which is what would be like required for my height. So she got a medium and I go to put them on and I like pulled them out and I was like, this goes up to like my ribs. Like this is not going to work. And so I did force myself into them and then like got my shoulders in. I was like crunched down with like legs up and I'm like, thanks, Aunt Linda or Laura, whoever it was. Like,
right. Yeah.
So that was the least usable I had. That was memorable. Of probably worst. Where I'm like, you're not going to hurt my feelings to get me a XL or 2XL that I need for my height. It's okay. I promise.
So at this point, as an adult, you do have a properly fitting onesie, though, right?
Oh, I have several. Yes.
Yeah. Okay. Of course. Yeah. Several. Yeah. Because you got to have that. You're out walking around in them, having coffee.
Both Christmas and non-Christmas. So I can wear my onesies year round.
Okay. Year round onesies. Okay. Miss Beka Sue, worst gift you ever got?
Sitting here like trying to think of like gifts that sucked from like my parents or like my friends.
How's Royce done?
He's done good. He does good.
That's good.
What? Yeah, well, you're in the room. I've got to say that.
Maybe we'll get the real story later. If he goes to the bathroom, we'll get the real story.
What did I do to you last Christmas?
You returned my gift.
Oh, you returned his gift?
A little bit too flashy, honey.
Oh.
He does good, but the only one that I can like think of that made me go, why the fuck did you buy me this? Was from an ex-boyfriend. This is from 10, 12 years ago. And he bought me a blue belt buckle ring.
What? Oh.
Like it looked like a belt buckle and it was like, it looked like it'd be something that you'd buy from like Claire's. And like, he was so excited about it. And I was like, I didn't say it, but I was like, wow. But in my head, I'm going, at what fucking point was I wearing like cowboy boots and a cowboy hat where you thought a belt buckle
ring would be good? Yeah.
Ring would be like, I would just be fucking dazzled.
Completes the ensemble. Yeah.
It just like it's probably the only present that like stands out in my brain that like I like the second I saw it, I was like, why the fuck would you buy that?
Yeah.
This is the dumbest thing I've ever gotten. And here's the thing, if that's your aesthetic, that's fine. That's an okay present to get if that's something that you would wear. But it didn't make any sense at all. And so that's like the only one I can think of that I was just like, I got it and I literally never wore it. And I threw it in the trash.
Yeah. Yeah, perfect. Where it belonged.
Yeah.
Right.
Because, like, what the
Yeah.
fuck?
Yeah. Well, Heidi, you asked the question. What was your worst gift?
Oh God. Well, there's two that stand out, and one was recent. And when I say recent, I'm like 2014, 2015. But the one that stands out all the time is the one that my mom decided to do. So my sister and I have a twin sister, and we were like 21 at the time. And I had just broken up with my boyfriend, and it was like coming up on Valentine's Day, and my sister was single. So my mom decided to go out and buy us Valentine's Day gifts. And so I go to open this little bag, and I open it up, and I'm like, seriously, you got me a bra? But it was when those water bras were coming out.
Oh God.
And she
Your mom's buying you a water bra?
Yeah. So
As
she's
an
buying
adult?
me this water bra. Well, and it was because, my sister is very well endowed and I am not. So she got Heather the underwear with the butt thing in them, because Heather has no butt. And so she had the butt pads in them to make it look like she had a butt, and she bought me a water bra. And I'm
That's not
like,
bad. It sounds like a nice joke, I guess. So
and
in
well,
family
and I was
joke,
like,
I
but
guess.
she was
I don't
like
know.
so sincere. She's like, I thought this would really help. I think it's gonna,
I think it'll help.
I think it's gonna make a difference when you have,
How is this going to help? One bra is going to make a difference. Like we're going to wear it
The
every day.
male callers will go crazy.
Yeah.
Right.
And I
yes.
said, Mom, that's false advertisement. As soon as I take off that bra, they're gonna know.
Yeah, I don't know what the
So
heck's going on.
I wore it one night, and I wore it one night. I went out with my friends and I wore it, and it sprung a leak.
Oh God.
No.
God.
We're
And
at,
it just got
we're at
worse.
the club, and I'm at the bar, and my friend was like, "Did you spill a drink on you?" And I was like, "Oh my God." And I did. I immediately spilled my drink on my shirt, went to the bathroom, took the bra off, threw it away. Nobody even knew I didn't have the bra on.
Oh,
So
there you
I
go.
was like, yep, end of that. That was probably the worst gift.
That's pretty bad. That's
ever
pretty
gave
bad.
me.
All right. Well, it is time to drink. What does everyone drink? We're going to start with Heidi, our current champion. Well, let's see how she does this time. We'll have her kick it off.
All right. I've got some straight bourbon whiskey from Neely's.
Okay.
Yeah.
So, Weeder.
The weeder. Okay. Very strong. Solid. Could be enough to win this thing. We'll see. I've got a Red Drum here from Florida Cane Distillery. Red Drum. Let's see what we got. Oh, this is going to be a tough one. This could be good. Boy, super bassy, but not enough to take over the lead. Heidi's still got the lead. Next up is Katie.
I have some Blade and Bow.
Hidden bow. Okay. Well, not enough. Just poor form in general. Sloshy, clinky. I heard that key
The
slammer.
key.
Gonna,
Yeah, the key
Yeah, the
really
key.
clinked on me. Should have grabbed
Yeah.
a hold of it.
yeah. All right. Evan, you're next.
All right. On theme with today's episode, going with Stag Junior.
Look at you being on theme.
Okay. All right. Not enough to take over the lead. Miss Beka Sue, you're last. Heidi's got the lead. What do you got?
I've got a bottle here that we got from our friend Hunter Coffee, actually. It's a bottle of Wild Turkey, 13-year bourbon whiskey, Distiller's Reserve.
Whoa, that's export. They gave you that?
Yeah.
Wow. Okay.
I found it in the garage because I wanted something else to drink
Okay.
we had down here. So I figured I'd try some of this because I haven't tried
That's
it
a
yet.
Japanese export, I believe.
Yeah. So I don't think it says anything about that on here, but yes, let's see how it does.
Okay. Very good. Excellent. In fact, not good enough though. Heidi goes 2 for 2 on her first 2 shows. How about that? How about that? Cheers, gang. Way to go, Heidi.
Cheers.
Cheers.
Ding.
Okay. We'll take a quick break. And then when we come back, we're going to be talking about bourbons you should keep away from your guests. We'll do that in just a few. Hello, this is Steve Akeley, owner of the ABV Network, and I'm excited to announce a brand new partnership with Leatherwood Distillery in Pleasant View, Tennessee. Many of you have perhaps heard of Leatherwood via our co-host on the Bourbon Daily, Kaylee Baker, who works there. Well, They are now an official sponsor of the network, and we look forward to everyone getting to know a little bit more about them. Company founder Andrew Lang brought his brewing and distilling hobby with him during his years of service as a Green Beret in the United States Army. Whether he was at his home base of Fort Campbell or during tours of duty in places like Italy or Afghanistan, Lang distilled whatever was available to him locally. We are excited about getting to know Andrew Lang and his team better via our programming and are planning a trip down there for the ABV Network crew very soon. In the meantime, check them out at leatherwooddistillery.com, where they will ship bottles directly to you, including their special Remembering 9/11 series, which is raising money for military charities. Seriously, get out there, buy some bottles, help a good cause, and let us know what you think. We're really excited about this partnership. Hello, this is Steve Akeley, owner of the ABV Network, and let's talk for a moment about our sponsors, the people that make this show happen. First up is our friends at Moonshine University. In 2017, I completed my Executive Bourbon Steward certification at their office in Louisville. The information I learned through lead instructor Colin Blake and their team there is something that I continue to draw upon frequently in my role at the ABV Network. It truly is the standard of establishing a benchmark of knowledge of the bourbon industry. From history to production to brands and people, it's all there. Check out their full listing of programs, including Executive Bourbon Steward certification, production classes if you're considering starting a distillery, and much more at moonshineuniversity.com. I also want to talk about Neely Family Distillery. Back in May of 2018, I met Royce Neely at Limestone Branch's Craft Bourbon Festival. It ended up not only being the start of a great friendship, I started to truly learn about what makes craft whiskey so amazing. You see, I had been a bourbon drinker for over 30 years at that point, and like many people who had been drinking bourbon a long time, I was hard-coded into thinking big bourbon was where it was at and craft was on a journey to get there. Spending time with Royce and learning the things he does to make his whiskey taste better started to really get me to appreciate how things like sweet mashing, open top fermentation, pot distillation, and the grains you are using not only makes your product taste better coming off the still, but also out of the barrel as well. I still love heritage brands and they make up a bulk of my collection. But when you find a craft distiller that is truly dedicated to the craft of distilling, you are drinking some of the best whiskey out there on the market today. That's exactly what's happening at Neely Family Distillery today. Check them out on the web at neelyfamilydistillery.com, or better yet, stop by and see them at their distillery in Sparta, Kentucky. And now, back to the show.
I'm McNew. Don't mix your grain and grapes. Not a good time. You're listening to the Bourbon Daily.
Welcome back to the Bourbon Daily. Today we're talking about bourbons to hide from your guest.
Yes, you are. So imagine this. We're at that time of the year. There's a lot of parties and things going on, get together. So say you're having a friend over and, a group of friends. What would be some of the bourbons you think you should go through your collection and put away? Not just have them sit down on the table where anything goes, because let's not forget, when it's a table of anything goes, literally it means anything goes. If they want to mix it with, Coke, that's fine. If they want to drink it neat, that's fine. If they want to just sip it and say how terrible it is, you might have to deal with that too. And, that's a weird thing. You get people who aren't bourbon drinkers and they try something that's really good, but maybe it's a higher proof than they're used to, or whatever the reason is, they don't like it. They'll tell you it's not good, which can be angering. So what do we think are some bourbons to put away? Heidi, you look like you're ready to go. What would be a good one you say should be put away from the mass population?
I don't think that we've really ever put anything away. We're pretty good at reading our guests. So, we do have a barrel that locks up and you can't get it up unless you know where.
That sounds like that's put away then. Sounds exactly like what we were talking about. It literally locks.
So, okay, fine. So I would say depending on who's over, we're definitely locking up the Pappy. We're locking up the, Eagle Rare store picks. We're locking up, I'm locking up, my Angel share. No, you're not getting that. That's mine. That's mine. Yeah. But for the most part, it doesn't bother me if they want to try something, and if they want to drink, some Jefferson Ocean with Coke, fine, go for it. I don't care.
Right. Yeah. But anything goes. So, okay, you did have quite a big list because, I don't know that anything goes, because if I took your Angel share, as much as you got there, and I got a red Solo cup, filled it with ice, took what was left of that bottle, poured it in there, and topped that thing off halfway up with Coke, I think you might have a problem. So yeah, this is exactly what we're talking about right now.
Well, then what would happen is I'd be over at your house grabbing 3 more bottles the next day.
Oh, that works out good for me, but yes. So yeah, we're getting low. Heidi is, we had that Angel Share, which is ABV Network pick, and Heidi has gotten most of it. She's got the bulk of it. We're down to 13 bottles left, I think, though. So a case plus 1. So it's getting low. It's dangerously low.
You're gonna have to cut that out of this program.
If Winston hears it, he may shut that thing down. Yeah, well, Winston will make a move. Yeah, no.
Might buy it all.
Yeah. All right, Evan. Anything you said in your intro, Stag Junior? That sounds like a good one to put away, right?
Yeah, I'm thinking like the allocated, really hard to find stuff. So naturally, like Buffalo Trace higher brands. So like regular Buffalo Trace, regular Eagle Rare stuff you find on the shelf. While it's still a little bit harder, that's okay. But when you're talking about like your special Wellers, right? Like a Weller Full Proof, or you got your Stag Juniors, your anything from the BTAC line.
I feel like any Weller other than maybe Special Reserve should be put away from just the general population.
Probably.
And maybe even Special Reserve. I have, luckily I've got a pipeline for that. In-laws live in Ohio, which is readily available. And, anytime we go visit, I can get as much as I want of it. If that situation, that could even cut off too. If I'm not getting any, because I do enjoy drinking that one from time to time. I like that one.
So my basic philosophy ends up being like too hard to find, too expensive, can never get again. So like
barrel picks.
Certain barrel picks. Yeah.
I like the idea of allocated and barrel picks because again, they're a one-time thing. If you got one you really like, it's not like you can go out and buy another one. So barrel picks is definitely should be on that list.
But my house is very inviting, right? You've been there. I have a whiskey library. The living room is literally just whiskey shelves. So it's like the higher you have to go to reach something probably means something.
Yeah.
Probably don't touch it then if you can't reach it.
Yeah, it's true.
Excellent. I like this philosophy because I can.
Yeah.
Steve and I are okay with this plan. Just what's
exactly.
in reach.
It's in reach. Katie and I are fine. We can.
I'm gonna wear my lifts.
I was like, poor Heidi's left out, but
Heidi,
what are you wearing?
She brought her own step stool.
Stripper stilettos and a step stool. So she's like, oh, what? No, just, part of my reach.
I'll just have one of those grabbers.
Go for grabbers.
So Katie, what would be something for you that, and again, I'm talking about a party where it's almost the non-experience. I feel like if any of us here on this call, we're just inviting over the other people that are here. I think pretty much anything's open because we know that you're experienced. We know you're going to treat the more expensive stuff in the right way. I have no issue with allowing you guys to try anything. If it's open, my policy, if it's open, you can try it for folks like you. But if I was having a bunch of people, so say it was my wife was hosting a bunch of people she worked with, and I don't know anything about them. I don't know that I would go through and call out what is available. I would, so that's what we're talking about here. That's the type of situation we're talking. What would you call out, Katie?
You wouldn't be able to hide that many bottles.
True. Exactly. But I'd be in trouble.
I have the same philosophy. If it's anyone who's actually legitimately interested in whiskey and maybe has at least enough experience to at least enjoy whiskey neat. It doesn't have to be a whole lot of experience, but just enough that you are knowing that different whiskeys have different flavors, like real low bar. Pretty much anything's open. Of the same philosophy. If it's already open, as long as it's not almost empty, you're good to go.
Right.
But in my house, so I have my bar cart whiskeys, but then I do have a china cabinet that has my whiskeys that I like looking at. And so it's got a lot of my Bren, which I do share quite a bit, but that even is the older years of the Bren 10 that you can't get anymore. I wouldn't be so happy if people went grabbing those and using that can't replace. And then I have all of my ocean aged lined up of the voyages.
Right.
And so that's again I have 6 bottles of Voyage 16, but I only have 1 of Voyage 17. So that definitely would be. But then in the middle, immediately I thought I just recently won a bottle of the Spaniard, not the story of the Spaniard, but the original Spaniard, which is incredibly limited. And got that from a charity raffle. And so immediately I was like, oh my God, I would be livid. Is anyone even like touched it who wasn't like a whiskey person? And even if they did, I was like, you can touch, but don't even think about putting your hand near that cork. Like that is being saved for a very special occasion. Like don't even think about it, even when it is. I'm not sure I'm going to share it still. Like, so and then I have a lot of the others. Everyone else has mentioned that my Wellers, and if there's even, I have several Blantons, which if some of it people, if they're truly impressed by that one, I'm like, okay, I'll give you some of this. Then you'll ignore some of my other stuff that's actually harder to find. So that's okay.
Right.
But, but yeah, that's, I think, and thankfully I've had very conscious guests, and that usually it's me pushing the whiskey on people where I'm like, oh, you're not a whiskey drinker? It's okay. I'll convert you. Let's go through this. I'll start throwing stuff at you and I'll make you a whiskey drinker. So normally it's the opposite for me, that people have to tell me, please stop making me drink your whiskey.
Katie brings up the point. I think Blanton's by name is now the second biggest name in bourbon. I feel like Pappy is the king, but after that, I don't, there should be, again, as a bourbon fan, I think we would prioritize things from the BTAC collection, but I don't think just the general population knows George T. Stagg, is something that we want to ask for. I don't think they know William LaRue Weller, from the BTAC collection is something that you really, I don't think they know those things, but I do think they know the buzzwords of Pappy. They know that definitely. I've been with, I presented at that bike ride I'm involved with, and then people that don't know anything about bourbon, they were like, what's the deal with this Pappy? Where can I get some of that? They know that name, but now Blanton's is like that too. That's another name they know, which is odd. Beka, how about you? Anything that you would pull? Because I think people hit on a lot of it. There is one other point I want to make, but I'll let you take a shot at this here. Anything you want to keep out?
It's kind of hard to say like things that I would pull, because like if someone wants to try something, and this maybe sounds bad, but to like depends on the person,
right?
But also like
because what I've seen is they want to try the. If so, say you've got a mixed crowd, and you've got some people like we've got us here, and then we've got a bunch of people that's never tried bourbon before, and we're all talking about how great this one bourbon is because we drink all this stuff. That's the one they want to try, and then they don't know anything about it. And they're like, oh, okay, oh yeah, it tastes like alcohol.
And so it's like kind of you kind of have to play by ear. I feel like when it comes to like what you can't have.
So I'm going to lay out a scenario to you. So you've got a new house. Your mother-in-law, Michelle, is bringing over, she's cut hair for many years, and say she's got a bunch of friends that she cut hair for many. So this is the friends that she's been cutting their hair as well as their husbands. They know that you guys own a distillery, don't know a whole lot about bourbon. They want to drink some bourbon. You guys are hosting it at your house because it overlooks the distillery. Again, I think you'd probably call some important things out at that point, right? Because they're up front, they're not bourbon drinkers. You're not having the crowd in there that's the bourbon drinkers. I would not
be offering things that, like we said before, like store picks, things that are very hard to find. Like I wouldn't just be tossing those out for them to try, but I also don't like if someone sees something and there's like, and they go, well, what does that one taste like? Or if they hear us talking about something, they go, what does it taste like? I'm not going to say, well, sorry, you can't have it. And like, if someone like sees a bottle and they're like, oh, that one looks really cool. Is it good? I'm going to let them taste it. And like, let me ones that we would hide, obviously. And so like,
let me share a scenario with you, because I saw this happen. Okay, so I involved in this bourbon club, and we'd go there, and it's a group of people, some men, some women. It's a mixed company, but then sometimes someone will bring a spouse. And in this example, it happened to be a man that was really involved, and he brings stuff like that. But he brought his wife, who doesn't drink bourbon, and we're all tasting he not him, but someone else brought a really cool bourbon. They brought Al Young, and of course, what do you think the bourbon folks are talking about? They're talking about that. So here comes this wife of one of the guys that's a normal member of the club. She comes up. She's got a Glencairn, which by the way holds 6 ounces. She comes up and sees that's the hot one everybody's talking about. She goes and pours herself a 6-ounce pour of Al Young and walks back in and sits down in front of the TV.
Oh,
that wasn't my bottle of Al Young. I would have been furious if I would have brought that for the person who doesn't know anything about bourbon. Is like, oh, I want to try that. That's cool. Someone's got an Al Young there.
That's
wrong. That to me is wrong. You don't want that to happen to you. That's wrong.
That is a
That's a party foul.
That's a bourbon
That is
etiquette
on
thing.
the especially because she has a bourbon husband. Apparently, that is
Yes.
his fault. I'm not even. That's the fault is not on her. I'm going to say
Right.
it right now that the fault is not on her. Like people should know to not. But if you don't know to not do that, a normal glass you're going to
Right.
fill up. If
That's
you
why we had to
don't
move
know,
the wee Glen Cairns after
That
that.
that is the fault of that husband for not, for one, educating his wife on things.
Yeah, you don't need to be mansplaining, but that's not a mansplain situation. That's just wrong.
That's
Again,
not
it's not theirs.
mansplaining.
That's a super
is-
desirable whiskey. That's not wrong to correct someone on that.
Regardless of it being yes, it's a desirable whiskey, but just not have him not explaining any sort of bourbon etiquette to his wife at all. Like, you don't fill your Glencairn up ever unless it's the end of the last show of the evening. For
Yeah, then you
Steve.
can do it.
That's
Last four show. Yeah.
That's it. You should never be filling it up to the top. And so that fault is on that husband, and he should have educated his wife better, what she was trying to do, just assuming, was she was trying to fit in and oh, everyone's talking about this, so I should get a glass of it too.
Right.
And so she was just trying to fit in,
No.
because it was probably a little bit nerve-wracking going to a bourbon thing with her husband anyways.
Yeah.
Steve, you have a list of the unwritten rules or basic etiquettes that have you done a show on those yet?
No, we should do that. We should create
Yeah.
the list of what you can and can't do.
Also, what you should explain to your non-bourbon drinking
Explain to your
or
that's the
non-bourbon
list.
drinking
That's the
friends
list.
or family and people that you might be bringing to bourbon events, things that you should not do. You should tell them you don't fill your fucking.
First of all, you
Glencairn up.
never fill a Glencairn up like that.
So I was at said event,
Yeah, exactly. Heidi was there.
Yeah.
It's
and
yeah,
I think she knew exactly what she was doing.
probably. Well, she knew everybody was talking about it. But
I think that it was done 100% intentionally,
Oh, that could be.
and it was, her glass was also shared with said husband.
Oh, well, at that point, it's damage control.
Okay,
That's
well,
nefarious.
let's assume for the fact of what we're talking about right now that a wife did not know what she was doing.
Yeah.
Let's exclude the situation exactly what Steve said, but just in general, that could be something that would actually happen just
Yeah.
in general. But I would say that in general, if that happened, it's the husband's fault for not explaining etiquette.
Yeah.
But if the husband's just trying to get a bunch of pours of, and blaming
This
it on
is. I'm just trying to throw this could be the situation, Rebecca. So
Yeah,
the chances,
I 100%.
if you're putting anything good out there, and someone takes a 6-ounce pour, it's kind of on you at that point. If you're not calling this out, again, that's a different situation because it's a bottle share. Everyone is bringing their best bottles, but that's why you got to have rules. There shouldn't be anybody ever taking a 6-ounce pour of anything. That's about hey, just have a taste of this cool thing. I'm sharing it, but you should get a taste.
So then at that point, do you have, instead of starting off with regular Glencairns, do you start off with the wee Glencairns?
Well, that's what we moved to after that, if you remember.
Yeah, why
Yeah,
not?
and that makes sense.
I
We
think that's-
Glencairns are good for
Yeah, that's the
bottle
best
share.
idea. It's just use
Yeah.
weak ones so that can't
It
happen.
helps out. Yeah.
But I think that there does need to be a certain amount of education that you give to your friends or spouses that involves what the etiquette would be going to a bottle.
We should create an online training class that then anybody could share with people when they're hosting one of these events for people that aren't experienced. And I would make them go through that then. So, hey, any club members, the rules, but if you're bringing someone who's a friend or a spouse, they got to watch this video. They gotta-
But before you go skydiving, you have to take the safety course.
Right. Exactly.
Even when it just comes down to let's say when because this happens at the distillery a lot. We pour them their whiskey and they don't do it anymore because we stopped them from doing this now. But they'll get their whiskey in their glass and they'll just dump
shoot
the
it.
entire glass down their throat and they'll go, oh my God, that's so hot. Yeah.
You're not a cowboy. This isn't an old Western.
I love the way when Beka is doing a tasting, I've been there a couple of times when she's going through the tasting portion of it. The way that you do it is the way it should be done everywhere.
You stop them immediately, because I watch them always reach ahead to go grab it, and I go, "Do not touch that yet. Listen to me
Slaps
talk
their
for a
hand.
minute or two here." Yeah, I slap their hand away.
The old hand
I
slap.
tell them don't touch it yet. I'm like, if you're gonna touch it, roll it around your glass. You need to let it open up. take some different sniffs out of it, take a couple separate sips as well, not just smelling it, take different, sips while you're tasting it, because people need to know that that's like how you actually need to do it and not just be slamming your fucking drink.
Yeah, I agree.
Every person who comes into your home, if you are the host and you're in charge of your bourbon collection,
I agree.
You need to inform your guests either through, with my whiskey library, give them the Dewey Decimal System, right? They need some guidance. How do they navigate their way through these shelves? What can they choose? Like, that's on you as the host to make sure
100%.
Those people have that knowledge.
Yeah.
100%. And also not only you, but if you have like kind of a co-host or like your best friend is there and they have some friends over, they need to know what you would also expect out of them. And so that if they're showing one of their friends the whiskey collection that they know that they can drink from, they know to go, yeah, so Beka said we can drink any of these. Like you can have, like an ounce pour of any of these that you'd like. Just don't go to this side of the table. This is stuff that like you can ask, but don't touch that. And that's what I did in my old one. Was I had two separate spots where there was literally a line between it because it's two separate tables. So like don't go past that line. And all my friends knew that. And I'll tell you what, all of my friends that were coming over to that house were a bunch of drunk, degenerate shit. Okay. And I mean that in the most loving way possible. And guess what? Not a single one of those drunks walked to the wrong side of that table and just went, fuck it, I'm going to pour myself 6 ounces of something. They never, ever. And they
you ruled with an iron fist. I would have been terrified.
Or just being obnoxious, smashing eggs on their heads, all this stupid shit. And guess what? Not once did they go to the wrong side of the table because they knew that was not where they were supposed to go.
Well, first of all, when you're dealing with you, it's not going to be just a chastising. It's going to be an ass kicking. The violence will be involved.
You might get punched in the face.
Right.
But guess what? Even blacked out, they knew that.
Well, sure.
So I had ingrained it in their heads. You don't touch that side of the table.
Yeah. That's not a testament to their character as much as their fear of you.
That's you know what? That's
either way it works, I guess. Yeah.
I am okay with that. If fear is what works to not touch the bourbon stuff that I want you to touch, then that's fine. Be scared.
I would love to see Beka's parenting.
I think that when people are throwing a party, you kind of know your guests too that are coming. But I mean, yes, to Steve's point, like if there are people coming over that you don't know, then
be careful. You gotta be careful as a host. Yeah.
But for me, like with my good friends, like it's great because not all of them were into bourbon and whiskey like I am, and like Jim is. But gradually, they are really getting into it, and I can go somewhere and taste something and go, this is good, but I know who would love this because where they're at in their palate at that point, and then get a bottle and take it to them, and they're like, oh my God, this is fantastic. This is great, and get them onto something else. They may be stuck on one certain bottle and then now they're going to go on to the next bottle.
Yeah. So the last one I want to point out, and again, as we're the spirit of the show is not the philosophies and all those things. It's more like literally what bourbons, and what I would say too is another one that you want to be careful of is your craft ones, especially when you collect from around the country. I got Distillery 91. I can't buy that locally. I've got but a lot of their stuff through the years. I would pull that because again, it's not necessarily a matter of the expense of the bottles. They're not necessarily expensive bottles, but it's the fact that I can't necessarily get them all the time. Would be that's another reason too is the inaccessibility and put those things away. So just be careful. So
yeah, there's some like Neely's. Like you guys,
your Neely's. You don't want to have your Neely's sitting out where anybody can drink it. And
I'll let certain people try it, but I'm not. That's not going to be out for a party.
I think
I'm going to make a bourbon and Coke with this Monster Mash. Yeah,
I think the biggest thing here, also that'd be terrible in a bourbon Coke because it wouldn't shine through. Right. But I think the biggest thing here is that your friends, your good friends, will probably educate. Like you'll sort of educate them, but if they bring people over. And like I said, this happened with my drunk piece of shit friends. When they brought random people over, they would tell those people, don't touch this stuff.
Right.
And so if your friends know that there's things that shouldn't be touched, they will make sure that anyone they bring over will say that. And also, if, when you have people over, you just need to make sure to say like, just let me know if there's something else you'd like to taste. This stuff is fair game, whatever you want to drink it with. You just need to be informative. You can't just sit there and then get pissed off if someone pours a 6-ounce pour of something, you got to make sure that people kind of know to like, don't do that.
Yeah.
Yep.
There you go. Yeah.
100%.
Or just to have the threat of violence.
Just
That's what
hide
Beka,
everything or violence.
Beka has used violence to her advantage. Just use violence. When in doubt, use violence. Yeah.
Every time. Guess what? Not a single bottle was touched.
There you go.
So tell me it doesn't work.
There you go. The violence is the answer. There you go. To rule your collection with an iron fist. There you go. All right. We'll wrap this one up as we always do by talking about where people can find us. Evan, we'll start with you. Where can people find you?
Yeah, I'm on Facebook, Evan Van Scoik, and on Instagram, Wit Wisdom Whiskey.
All right. Low on the wit and the wisdom, but a lot on the whiskey, heavy on the whiskey. So there you go. Heidi, how about you? Where can people find you?
You can find me on Instagram as Heller_BarrelBabe or on Facebook as Heidi Topol Eller.
All right. Katie.
You can find me over on Instagram at Katie Proof.
Miss Beka Sue.
You can find me on Twitter and on Instagram at Miss Beka Sue, 1K, no C's.
All right. For me, I'm an easy guy to find. I'm at Steve Akeley on Twitter, Instagram, or Facebook. I've got a website, steveakeley.com. The important website, though, is abvnetwork.com. Check it out because everything that we do is out there. Holiday shopping season. Oh, boom. abvnetwork.com. Click on the shop. We got everything you need and then some. So check us out at abvnetwork.com. Miss Beka Sue, anything else to say before we get out of here?
I'd just like to remind the audience to please give us a 5-star review that includes comments. It helps when people find the show, which is very important to us. If you like what we're doing, we ask you please visit our Patreon page at patreon.com/the ABV Network.
All right. Great job today, gang. For audience, we'll have a brand new show for you tomorrow. Looking forward to that. Until then, take care, everybody. See ya.
Bye.
Bye-bye.
Bye.
Peace. Before we finish the show, let's chat for a moment about Moonshine Still Pro. Moonshine Still Pro has a full line of products to help the home distiller. Whether you just want to experiment on a small scale on the stove in your kitchen or try your hand at a bigger setup in the backyard, Moonshine Still Pro can help. They have different still offerings as well as accessories and even grains from Goldstone Mill to help you make whiskey on par with what you get from your favorite distillery. They can even assist with a DIY still project by supplying some of the parts you can't make yourself. Check them out at moonshinestillpro.com. At the ABV Network, we're lucky enough to have some great friends. Amongst those friends is the Goldstein family, owners of Goldstone Mill. Goldstone Mill is a full-service mill offering a variety of heritage and heirloom grains. Their unique approach of working with mills around the country allows them to offer you affordable shipping opportunities to meet the unique needs of your distillery or brewery. They will consult with you to ensure the grains you are selecting meets the unique flavor profiles you are looking for. If you are a home brewer or distiller and you're looking for the grains that your local distillery or brewery uses, Goldstone Mill is the place to look. Check them out on the web at goldstonemill.com, call them at 217-254-6613, or shoot them an email at hello@goldstonemill.com.
The Bourbon Daily is part of the ABV Network. For more information or to become a sponsor, please visit abvnetwork.com. Thanks for listening and cheers.
This has been a Steve Akeley production.